that was the biggest thing, was when I started here, I didn't realize how much was involved.
Like stuff you had?
Oh, just stuff that you have. Awesome, thank you. I feel professional now. It was like I didn't realize how much stuff would be involved, how much time would be involved in getting the place up and running.
Yeah.
And then how much time you spend just obsessing about everything in the business.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a freelancer, but being a freelancer is freelancing, right?
Yeah.
You go out there, you're like, Doug calls you and you're like, hey, come and do this shoot. Great,
go.
off we go, let's
Yeah.
go. Maybe you spend like 2 hours, 3 hours the day before getting ready.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now it's like there's a whole production line, like
Yeah.
a whole cycle that goes through, right? So, yeah. I'm gonna mute my phone, so.
I got mine on vibrate.
There we go. So,
Around 10:30, we'll probably.
you got a rip, yeah?
Wow. Just start to wrap up.
Yeah.
I got an 11 o'clock
Perfect. Oh, you'll
at the
you'll be
office.
fine.
I mean, I'm only 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So I'm here today talking to Doug. Doug has been a key figure in the marketing sphere in Belleville specifically for about 11 years now. Is that correct?
Yeah,
or even
first
longer?
week of May, it was 11 years.
11 years. And so 11 years at Bay of Quinte?
At Bay of Quinte. Yeah.
Wow. So what did you do before that?
I mean, it was kind of a mixed bag. Before that, I have kind of two lives. One's in the health sector.
Okay.
So I used to work for Health Canada and eHealth, and I started at Mental Health New Brunswick.
No way.
And then there's a community health center in Tweed. So we moved here. My wife's from Belleville.
Yeah.
So we moved here because she got a teaching job at Centennial Secondary School. And so I was actually working in television.
There you go.
Right. And so there wasn't a whole lot of TV action going on here in 2010.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a job at the community health center up in Tweed. But yeah, so before that, I had worked for Rogers and City TV and Much Music, and kind of did hosting and writing and that sort of thing. Some interview stuff with the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television.
That's cool.
Hosted the Genie's Red Carpet.
So you've got a really broad background already in media before you even got into marketing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that helps me. Like, one of my main jobs as executive director of the Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board is, making presentations, telling people who we are and what we do, being the representative of the organization. And so when you're a television host, you got those skills in your trick bag. And so it's been super helpful.
Yeah, I think the unsung hero of going from there to where you are now is that ability to have the stage presence, is the ability to understand how to quickly communicate, right? Like, that's the main thing, is a lot of people zone out very quickly. So being able to, especially on TV, right? You've got 5-6 seconds to get the message across and then go in deep if need be, but you got to get it across quickly and very simply so they can understand.
Yeah, big time. Part of the reason I got into TV, well, I wanted to get into TV, but one of the stepping stones to get there was going to Humber College.
Yep.
And they have a comedy program, which some people maybe know or don't know. So I was in the comedy program. I'm actually a comedy program dropout. But in the comedy program, we had to do a lot of improv.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And so I did a ton of improv as a part of that.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the program. I had already graduated university, and a lot of the people in the program were fresh out of high school. Yeah. Some of them were like 17. Ooh. Not that I was, aged. I was probably 23 or something.
Yeah.
But I was just ready to take it more seriously. And so I dropped out of the comedy school and transitioned into their script writing program. So, yeah.
Nice. So the ability to write those stories and tell the stories. Yeah, that's really cool.
Exactly.
So you're not from Belleville then?
No, I'm from New Brunswick, a small town called Sussex, New Brunswick.
Sussex, yeah.
A lot of people who've been to New Brunswick know the cities, which are in the south end, St. John, Moncton, Fredericton. If you drew a triangle between those three Sussexes right in the middle.
Right in the middle, yeah.
It's like the size of Picton.
Yep.
4,000 people, little strip. Yeah, it's a great little spot.
So what brought you to this area?
Love,
yeah.
Yeah. So my wife and I met in university in Montreal. And then, like I said, she was offered a teaching job. We were living in Toronto at the time. And man, it's a hard knock life living in Toronto. And she was offered a teaching job. So we moved here. We didn't have kids yet. We knew we wanted to have a family. We knew we wanted to try and buy a house.
Yeah.
Back then you could buy a house.
It's so bad right now.
It's nuts.
I know I've talked to a few people about it, and there's no simple fix.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the average price of a house in this region is over $650,000.
That's incredible.
Yeah. We were in a meeting yesterday, and somebody was talking about affordable housing and a new development going up in this area that was deemed affordable. It was in the 400s.
And they're probably tiny houses too, really.
I can't remember what they were. I don't know if we were talking details, but that's, $400K is not affordable.
No.
Yeah.
No, especially because, I mean, do you know what the average wage is locally?
You're testing me here, but it's probably in the mid-20s per hour.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think if I remember from the most recent census, which is 2021, annual salary was in the high 30s, I think, maybe low 40s.
Yeah.
So let's say you're making that, especially if you're a single parent, you got kids.
Yep.
And yes, Belleville's got a pretty strong transit system, but if you don't live in, Belleville, or you're out rurally, maybe you're living in Frankfurt, you got to drive. You got to pay $1.60 a liter for gas.
Yeah. Everything's expensive.
$8 for a head of lettuce.
That's insane. That's why we're growing lettuce now.
There you go.
There's just like lines of lettuce in our backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So you moved here. And so why did you guys decide to stay in Belleville?
What a place.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm supposed to be talking this place up now. That's my job. But when we moved here, again, coming from New Brunswick, and so we did school in Montreal. We did a stint in Halifax. Then we were in Ottawa when my wife took her education degree. Then we were in Toronto. So we had kind of gone city, 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 city. And then we come here, and at first, we were still mid-20s. And at first I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. Right? Because we still wanted to party.
Yeah, there's no nightlife.
There wasn't much going on. There might have been Bohemian Penguin closing it out or something.
You had Bohemian Penguin, you had Little Texas.
Yeah, Little Texas was in the mix.
What was the one there? It was the one in the corner near Quinte.
Matt and Joe's.
Matt and Joe's.
Yeah. But that wasn't really our scene either, you know. And so, but then, you start living here and you realize, wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah.
It doesn't take the regional marketing representative to realize that. I mean, you got a ton of water, ton of green space. Mm-hmm. Again, affordability. The other thing that's really cool about this region that I think people who grow up here don't necessarily get is we have so many little communities within like 15 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, if you're in downtown Belleville, you can drive 20 minutes and be in downtown Trenton and Quinte West. That's a whole other downtown. It was just 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's really cool. There's a new flavor. Yep. There's all new stores. There's all new stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think that really appealed to us. And then again, affordability, especially relative to the city.
Well, and still to this day, if you go look outside, go to Kingston. And it's still more expensive to move to Kingston,
I mean, it's all just graded up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, average price here is in north of $650. But to your point, if you go next door to Kingston, it's in the 8s.
Yep.
Right? So we knew we wanted to have a family.
Yeah.
And so we're also super fortunate. My wife's parents live here. Mm-hmm. My mom and her husband have since moved here. And so we have 3 kids. I mean, I couldn't think of a better place to live. This place is awesome.
The reason that I stayed here, because I grew up in England, moved into France, was living in Paris when I moved over here. So I moved from Paris to Sterling, which, if anybody knows Sterling,
this
Ontario.
This is a movie. I feel like this is a movie title. Brady, this is your next project.
There we go. When I moved here, I landed here and I was within 2 weeks, I'm like, there's nothing here. And I was looking at going to Tokyo at that point. I was like, I'm going to go move to Japan
Tokyo
and teach
or
there.
Sterling.
And then I met my wife and stayed here.
So where'd you meet your wife?
When I was teaching in Madoc Public School.
No way.
So I was bilingual. And they were just like, oh, you speak French, therefore you can teach French. Here, go teach at this elementary school.
Yeah.
Grade 7 and 8 French.
I did that at Harry J. Clark when we first moved here.
Worst decision ever.
Actually, it taught me that I didn't want to go into teaching.
The same. Yeah. I said, you could not pay me enough to do this. That was where I was like, okay, now I know that I can go through something that I really hate, right? So let's go and do something I really love. And then that's when I started my photography business. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we pause here and we say, our wives are amazing.
They are amazing.
They are teachers. They are amazing.
Teachers are a different breed.
It's unreal. So my parents were both teachers.
Yeah.
My wife's parents both teachers. So that's actually, I was on track. I wanted to teach.
So you're the black sheep.
Well, I don't know about that, but I wanted to do it. And then, I couldn't hack it, man.
Yeah. It's so hard.
It's hard.
It's so hard. And like today's environment is so different than how we grew up.
These things.
Oh, those.
Are
they good? Are they bad? Can they be both?
I think they must be both, but the jury's out.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about this, and in the office the other day, because a couple of my coworkers are about my ilk.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how, remember, when you had a party on a Friday, you made a plan at school, and it was like, we're going up past Brandon's house like a kilometer, and then there's a field, and we're all going to meet in that field.
Yep.
At like 8.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you're driving, you're like, where is this place? And then all of a sudden, there's cars. And somehow it all worked.
Yeah.
And then somehow we all got home.
Yeah.
And it all happened.
Yeah.
And we didn't have cell phones. And I know I'm not the first one to be saying the story, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they're a blessing and a curse for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about you and your wife, but I know that my wife and I talk often about how are we going to do cell phones with our kids? Because there's a ton of kids in our daughters' classes, right? Our daughters are in the same class that have cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my oldest has a cell phone because she goes to high school, right? So we said that when you get to high school, you get a cell phone.
Yeah.
So what we mean by cell phone is this device is active on a network.
Yeah, yeah.
So then my youngest, Poppy, she has a cell phone, but it's not active on a network.
Yeah.
So she still doesn't understand that. So she's like, well, I have a phone, but she just uses it to play games. And when she's at home, she can talk over Discord with her sister. And like, that's how they communicate, right?
Yeah.
And it's good to teach them like in stages, I think. Because that's the number one thing is like, Elodie took her phone to school and then like came back and was like already cracked up and stuff like
Oh
this.
yeah, sure.
And I'm like, that's why you give them the worst, oldest phone to send them out into the wild
They
with.
can't even bring a pencil home.
No,
so let alone
I wanted to
phone.
give her a Nokia. Like
one of the old
old
flippers.
school, no, I'm talking like the old one that you cannot
pull
break.
it up. Yeah,
no, just like it's like the Nokia. I think it's like 800 series or whatever it was, and those things you couldn't break.
Yeah,
like you just like. And you had to text using numbers, like
1 2 3 1 2 3.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, the C was ABC.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny. That was my first phone.
Yeah.
So I have 2 boys, and when we had COVID, they got Chromebooks, right, to do work. So they have a Chromebook. So I don't know. This is months ago, but one of them goes, "Dad, why can't I have a cell phone? I want to," and so my question is, what would you do with this phone?
Well, how old is he?
He's only 8.
Okay, yeah.
And he goes, well, I'd play games. Oh, what else would you do? Well, I'd watch videos. Oh, okay. So you have a device that does all of these things.
Yeah, it's called the TV.
Well, and his Chromebook too.
Yeah,
like if
exactly,
somebody's on the TV, So anyway, I think it's a different. It's a whole different world though, for sure. Yeah.
How would you bring up your kids with cell phones, Brady? Because you're kind of 28 now, right?
Yeah, I will be 28 like in a month.
Yeah, so you're like a generation or 2 behind us.
Yeah.
2, maybe 1. Let's temper this.
He's 14 years ahead of us. He was the baby.
Ahead. My wife and I have actually talked about it that we want to put off the phone thing for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because our nieces and nephews, like I have 8 nieces and nephews now, and they are just starting to get to that age where one of them has a phone. But now all of them want a phone, and it's like, how do you give one of them a phone without giving them all?
That's what's tricky.
It's a very tricky thing. Like I don't love the idea of like, I had a phone when I was 13, but it was the flip phone.
Yeah,
you could use it as a hammer, and you could like barely text on it.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna put off getting phones for the kids as long as possible. The imaginary kids that don't exist yet, by the way.
I think for me, a lot of it is about the boredom piece, Like here we are, we're all creatives in this room. Like, remember being bored?
Mm-hmm. You have to be bored.
I think that's it. You got to be bored, to come up with good ideas.
Yeah.
And so I know we try to be conscious about that with our kids. It's like
allow boredom.
Yeah. So we kind of have a rule where the kids aren't allowed to ask us, "What can I do?"
Ooh.
You know,
I give them a job.
Yeah,
they ask me
that's
that,
it.
I'll give you
if
a job.
They asked, then you're doing a chore.
Yeah,
so
like,
they've learned that.
Yeah, here, come hold this flashlight while I fix this thing. It's like you could be a mobile unit. Yeah. No, I like boredom. I'm glad you talked about that actually, because I've been thinking about that a lot recently. And so recently I've noticed that the kids tend to go from tech to tech.
Yeah.
So they'll put down the phone, they'll go to the TV, or they'll put down the TV and they'll go to the laptop.
Yeah.
And it's like they have a tendency to...
There's this screen time thing. So do you have a rule on screen time?
We're going to implement it in the summer.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now it's like if you implement something in the school year, you're screwed.
Totally.
Right?
And that's a whole other beast, right? With teacher wives or teacher partners,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Is then the summer.
Yeah. The summer's great.
Summer's great.
And it's great and not at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there's something like, well, great, now I'm a babysitter.
Yeah.
Or it's like, no. Like, yeah. And so we're lucky we actually have the kids that are quite active in the summer. So they go out and they play and they get outside. My kids love to garden. They love to do all that stuff.
That's cool.
What
do you guys garden?
So we've got 2 beds down right now. We're going to do some vegetables in those, like ranging from hot peppers all the way to lettuce.
Oh, nice.
Right? And in a few months, hopefully, we're going to get that greenhouse built behind it. So then next year they can propagate and learn all that stuff too.
That's cool. So you would like pre-plant stuff in the winter. That's cool.
Yeah. So we're going to have we have 2 beds right now. We're going to build the greenhouse behind it. And then next summer, we're going to put 2 more beds, or next spring, 2 more beds.
Yeah.
That'll go down. And so then by the end, we should have like 4 to 6 beds. We'll see.
That's awesome.
I love gardening. So it's like for me, I love gardening that you can eat.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Like that to me is gardening. It's like, this has got a value to it.
Yeah.
Right?
There's nothing better than having all the salad fixings.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, it's supper, kids.
Yeah.
Here's a colander. Go fill it. We're going to make salad. Let's go. And then barbecue.
Yeah. I got a smoker this year.
Oh, sweet.
Brady finally convinced me to get one.
Yes. You have one too?
Oh. I got a smoker several years ago before COVID, and it's been the best investment.
Oh, really? What do you
great.
smoke?
We did a brisket for Christmas dinner.
Oh, nice.
With my mom and sister, and it was amazing. And I was sick on the couch from my nieces and nephews. Like I was puking all day, and I just laid on the couch while they got to eat brisket. Brisket sandwiches the next day are great, though.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically got me into the smoking world. I mean,
Brady got you into smoking.
Yeah, he's
what he just said.
He's the bad habit, and
peer pressure.
Yeah, and so I've just been loving that ever since. And it's just, I love barbecuing.
Yeah,
I love barbecuing now. So it's like, when people see there and they see, I'm like, oh, you have the smokers.
Oh,
like,
yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, it's the AP 3000.
Let me introduce you to this. Yeah. So it's very nerdy. It's fun. It's like,
I always love the videos that Matt DeMille puts out. He's always doing something on some sort of new company thing, and showing us what to do. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue into this area with. I find this area is becoming a really good incubator for really cool things.
Oh, big time.
And not just like specific things, but very diverse. Like I follow like Marble Hall is a great example I've been following recently.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're doing amazing content.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to reach out to them and find out more
met
about
with them a couple of months ago. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
They're telling great stories of the downtown.
Yeah.
Actually, Zandra is now writing for our blog.
No
too.
way.
Yeah. So I think her first piece comes out. Anna's been working with her on that.
Yeah.
And I think her first piece comes out in the coming weeks.
Wow, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of little pockets here. So this is kind of the main reason I got you here. So it's kind of sneaky to get people on a podcast because I get 1 hour usually of like time just to be one-on-one, which is really hard these days.
But we're 1-on-2.
Yeah, 1-on-2.
Or 2-on-1.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Brady's my +1.
Always, buddy.
So basically, this area, promoting it and growing it, you're really good at promotions and you're really good at growing things. So I want to kind of pick your brain on how best to grow something and marketing it and stuff like that. So what do you see that is working for people right now? Like what is a good thing for people to do? Like get out there and promote what they do, because Amplified is mostly about how to grow and to promote your business, your personal brand, and understand that.
Yeah.
So like how do you find the people who are being successful are doing it, and what are they doing?
Yeah, I mean, we work with a lot of small businesses, right? Like dozens and dozens through the course of the year. I think the biggest thing is most small businesses have no time to market, right? They're working either 6 or 7 days a week. Often they employ their family, you know, and just running their business is the thing that they focus on and have to focus on in order to keep going.
Yeah.
So the main thing we always run into when we're having discussions with small businesses is talking about like, well, what do you have time to do?
Yeah.
And one of the issues, again, about these cell phone things is you're always seeing people putting content out. So what we've experienced is small businesses think, oh my gosh, I have to put something out every day. So, you know, when people chat with us at the Regional Marketing Board, we're often saying, just do what you can.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the first thing.
Yep.
Because if you're trying to put too much out, or if you're stressed about putting stuff out, therefore you're parking it over here and you're not doing it. You know when you hit that hurdle, right?
Yep.
Then it's going nowhere. And so you end up being a detriment to your own business.
Yeah.
So one of the things we typically say is, why don't you put one thing out a week?
Yeah.
And the other piece that's often really difficult is platforms. You know, here we are doing a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Actually, this is like a mashup because here we are. I'm on video too.
Yeah. This to me, when we were talking about we needed a product for the studio.
Yeah.
And I said, why don't we do something that's going to be a game changer for businesses locally?
Yeah.
Which is we'll do a podcast, but then we'll take the clips. And for me, I'm more interested about the clips. And even in my own podcast stuff, I am falling behind in it currently because I've been more
fall
focused
behind
on
every time.
Every time because and the
Well,
problem
it's
is
a lot of work.
Well, and the problem is too is like I have all this content ready to go. I just got to schedule it and do all of that, but I have to find time. But my main job for AMP and for Mind Infusion is to be the outboard. So going out there and getting people to like come in and say hi and ultimately book with us.
Yeah.
Right. That's my kind of job.
Yeah.
Right. And so people get to know who we are through me and in the community. Right. That takes a lot of time.
It sure does.
Right. And so it's like then when you sit there and you have to keep mixing back and forth. So eventually what we'll do is we'll have in-house where someone will do that eventually.
Yeah.
Right. But for now it's like whenever I can, I'm out doing that. And I usually do like a bulk load and then I forget about it and then I have to do another bulk load. So I know like if you go look at the last 2 weeks, I think I've been really bad at not posting.
Yeah.
But
have been really
you
bad.
also notice in the feeds too, you see a lot of difference. So I'm noticing that I've slowed down on that, and now I'm seeing inbound has slowed down too. So I need to be on top of that.
Well, and this is the thing, right? And that's where we talk about this. Just do one per week.
Yeah.
Because to your point, it's all about just consistency.
Consistency is
so
key.
even if it's only one a week or only one every 2 weeks, at least you're consistent.
Yep.
And then the other piece, just going back on the platform side of things, you know, there's just so much now.
Yeah.
And the other piece of advice that we often give is just pick one.
I always think, and I wouldn't say just pick one. I'd pick the one that's relevant to your audience.
Well, yeah.
So my audience is predominantly on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right? Your audience is primarily on Facebook and probably Instagram with a little bit of TikTok, right? So you want to have like that awareness, right?
Kind of everywhere.
Kind of everywhere. Yeah, you're kind of a little bit different, right? Yeah. So and like LinkedIn is probably one of the minor ones for you because it's less about business, right?
Yeah.
So, but you still need to have that prong because you still have that B2B kind of level, right?
And that's it too, right? As you know, you got a different theme or approach per platform.
Yeah.
And so also, as you know, if you're running your own business, sometimes it's just too much to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Anna Freyberg, who's our content communications manager, that's her job, full time.
Yeah.
Full-time job is creating content.
Yeah.
We were talking off camera, you know, we just hired somebody new, Jack McAvoy.
It's amazing.
He's pushing out a lot of our video content now. You know, you guys know this because you live it. A lot of people don't know it. Even a 1 minute video, I mean, you're talking like 4 to 6 hours just to throw something down. And often we're just talking shooting on a cell phone too.
Yeah. So there's like layers, and this is what we explain to our clients. There's like layers of effort required in videos, but it still doesn't change the effort for video versus photo is, I always say it's about 4 times as much, right? Because there's 4 times as many things you got to worry about, right? Like photo, you just got to worry about photo.
Yeah.
With video, you got to worry about audio. You got to worry about video itself. Then you got the editing, because a photo you can pretty much post with like minimal editing and it would look good.
Yeah.
But video, you have to put some work into it, because if not, you've just got one shot, you know?
And you probably had to write a script, or at least some beats, so you know what you're going into.
Yeah, so that's the hard part. So like the layers that you put onto videos, especially, and you know this from doing like high-end videos too, those are when like your 1 minute video could take a month.
Oh gosh.
Right? And that's where it gets like into the craziness. So, yeah.
And I think the other piece is really just focusing on a minimal number of messages.
Yeah.
Often we see with small businesses, they want to say everything that they do. And it's not to diminish those businesses.
No.
You're doing a lot. I respect that. But when you have too much in terms of messaging out there, it just all gets lost. You know, so just pick one thing and go with it.
Yeah.
And focus on that thing. The other piece that we talk a lot about, and we do this because we have to, is creating what we call an editorial calendar or a content calendar. And so I was actually just on the phone with a small business last week talking about this, who was asking kind of the same question, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, sit down, and maybe it's not for the year, but even just write out the next 2 to 3 months of like, what could you talk about?
Yep.
Pick something.
Pick a subject.
Every single week, one thing that relates to that main message you're trying to be. You know, maybe you're an outdoor food stand. Well, just make it about food.
Yeah.
Right? And so just pick something every single week to talk about and pre-plan that. And I know from speaking to businesses who have, you know, met with us and then gone through that process, that has made them post more.
Yeah.
Because now they have a plan.
Well, that's why we do the podcast thing, right? Because then they can literally talk about that. So we do like a quick, like 3 month schedule. We don't do the full year, because I find a full year, too much can change.
It's a lot.
So if you crush it down to 3 months, and then by the end of the second month, you start thinking about what the next 3 months can look like, because you can see what's working and what's not. So you can sit there and change your content accordingly, right? So like my content, I find does better when it's business related. So I tend to stick more into that business related stuff. Brady, if he shows his gear being unpacked when he's sitting there on his couch, does amazing, right? So that's where his content shines.
Right? Yeah, it's really interesting, right? Like, okay, so we're a regional marketing board. We kind of have to talk about everything. We represent Brighton to Napanee and everything in between on the North Shore. So we have to talk about all those communities. There are certain things that when we talk about them, we get nothing. Hockey's huge here. This is a hockey community. We got the Belleville Sens. We got the Trenton Golden Hawks. We got. When we talk about hockey, nobody cares. It's so interesting.
Really?
Because 60% of our digital following online is typically female, 40 plus.
Really?
And they are stereotypically less interested in hockey content. Yeah. But, you know, there's a great example of, hey, you would think this would work. Doesn't work. So anytime we're posting about hockey, we're either talking to somebody at the Sens, you know, calling Garrett up and going, what should our strategy be? You know, what are you finding people are getting into? Or we're talking about it in the office, like, well, how about we do this, or we approach it this way, or let's do a ticket giveaway. That's the other thing too, right? Is small businesses putting aside a little bit of cash to do giveaways.
It's huge.
Always goes well. Just gets people through the door.
So the numbers, like when you look at across the board businesses in general, the ones that do well spend about 10% of what they make on marketing. Which could be social media, could be advertising. It's kind of bundled in there, which it really shouldn't be. It should be like a couple of different budgets, but that's kind of how they bundle it. So you got your marketing budget of 10% of what you make per year. So, and that's to move the needle. So you can spend less, but you're not really going to do much. It's like, I always tell clients, is like, be aware that your spend will change how you move. So if you're going to spend, if you're a $1 million company and you're spending $1,000, well, don't expect movement. Right? That's just social proof.
And that's been our experience. Is there aren't a lot of organizations in this region that spend good budget on marketing.
No, and I don't even think it's good budget is over that, I would say, but I would say like that's your bare minimum. Right. And those are the ones that actually are successful. The ones that we've worked with where we see them consistently grow, they spend that, they spend it well. Because I mean, you can go and spend budget and not get anything out of it. Right. So you need to have like an awareness of what you're getting from it. We've been focused more on deliverables recently.
Yeah.
So like, here's the value we bring to the table, but we're also giving you UGC. Like we're building out camera rigs that go like for a cell phone on the side of the camera. So when we're filming, you're getting UGC at the same time.
That's
and then
cool.
you can cut it together and it looks like UGC.
Yeah, I mean, this package is terrific, right?
This too,
you come in, you do an hour or whatever, like you said.
Yep.
You got probably a couple months worth of content.
Yeah, easy. You got 30 clips.
Yeah.
Plus your long form.
Yeah, which is amazing. And so the value for that, I think, is huge.
The hardest part for people to get is the long tail on this one. So it's a long tail success. It's not a short-term success. The podcast stuff, you got to dedicate minimum 10 to 20 episodes to see any movement.
Right.
And a lot of people sit there
again,
and
it's that consistency.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man. So that's where we're like, so ignore that and focus on the clips, and then just enjoy the clips and forget about the podcast stuff for now.
Yeah.
Just put the podcast out, rinse and repeat, because it takes time to understand what the show's about and all that, and make it into a show.
Yeah.
And get to the point.
Well, and it takes time for people as they scroll, because let's remember, people are looking at stuff for 3 seconds, maybe.
Is that it now? Yeah.
So it takes a while for them to go, oh, there's that podcast again. You know, I did kind of like that the last time. I'm going to spend some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody really watches anything for that long right now. That's what's so tricky about marketing.
So the metrics I use now is, and it's not view count, or it's not any of that. It's the engagement. And what I also noticed too is like, if one video is doing okay, but then I notice my back catalog is starting to go up, then I'm like, oh, so that one actually hit well.
And they're going in
because they're going back and
around.
watching through and then like leaving after that when they got their fix, right? So it's like, how can I, put more content like that out there?
And again, that's the consistency piece, right? Like how many small businesses have I talked to and they go, I want to do some videos. Okay, great.
Yep.
What did you do? Well, we did some videos in 2016. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's changed since 2016? Pretty much everything. By the way, those videos are still on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You should probably delete them.
Yeah.
Right? And again, I know, small businesses, and by the way, that makes up about 80% of the businesses in this region.
Which I love.
That's really
I'm
cool.
all about small business.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a vendetta against big business, but I do want to see big business have less of a foothold than they do, because I love small businesses, because the small business is your neighbor. It's the people that live in the community, right? And it's not the one grand house sitting on the lake that's got like $10 million worth in their backyard. It's like, it's the guy going to work and doing the work, and it doesn't matter who you are or what company you are now. You're a content creation company.
Yeah.
Like that's the hard reality of this world now is like.
But nobody wanted to get into that.
Nobody
right?
wanted to get into that.
It used to be there were advertising agencies, and that's what they did for you.
Yeah.
But now, again, to your point,
Yeah.
everybody's got to do this, and not everybody's ready, and not everybody has the time for it.
No.
Who has the time if you're owning a small business to go back through and cull your YouTube channel?
Yeah. So I think like that's when partnering up with, different agencies is going to be smart on their behalf. So I always tell people, if you don't have the time, then put aside some money to make it work, right? And find someone that works for you within your budget. It doesn't matter who it is. We have lots of talented creators locally.
Yeah.
And you can literally start going out there and saying, hey, I just want to work with you to get this, right? They go to a creative and say, this is what I'm looking for. And then let them help build that, because that's what they're there for. Like,
buy a podcast package with Ant Media today.
Like, I think honestly, one of the easiest ways of doing it is the podcast studio, obviously, because it's literally sit down, do this for half an hour to 45 minutes, and you've got all your content you need. Right. And it takes you, how long did it take you to get here? 10 minutes?
Well, I just live on Hamilton, so not even 10 minutes.
Yeah. You're like just out there. You're like, you're on my way to work. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So we got about 10 minutes left on your time, because I know you got to rip shortly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What are some of the things that you can see changing in Bay of Quinte in the next 10 years?
I think infrastructure is huge. When you look at what's happening with the downtowns right now, so specifically I'm thinking about downtown Belleville and downtown Trenton. There's a lot more living quarters going in.
Good.
So all of a sudden there are people living more in the downtown than they have since I've been here anyway, which is 2010. Belleville, for example, did the Build Belleville project, I don't know, whatever, 7-8 years ago, which kind of set the tone for that with all the infrastructure piece. You're also starting to see a lot of overnight accommodations pop up in these downtowns. That's the first time almost ever, right? Of course, there was Quinte Hotel, but that's a different era.
Yeah, that's where we got married in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's gone now, but
Yeah. But so all of a sudden, you've got tourists who can just stay in the downtown. So, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here if we're talking about downtown Belleville. We're starting to see some big developments with respect to what's happening with, the unhoused and the individuals who have been accessing the Bridge Street United facility. And hopefully there's going to be this, kind of mixed use facility that's going to happen at the old Alhambra Center. The city's invested over $2 million there.
Wow.
I know the Belleville Quinte West Community Health Center is going to be managing that facility. So it's going to be meant to have multiple access points under one roof, which is huge. So then all of a sudden, I think that's going to create an opportunity for downtown. Because it's not necessarily going to be experiencing the same social issues that it has been for the last, couple of years since COVID, especially because I think all of that has ramped up. I think everybody's trying their hardest to make the best of this challenging situation. And by the way, this isn't just Belleville.
No.
I mean, if you're following along, you see this in Peterborough, you see this in Brockville, you see this in Kingston. It's everywhere. It goes back to what we were talking about before. A house costs $650,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Gas is $1.60.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're going to see real changes because of investments that have been happening. A lot of folks might not know this, but the amount of units, for example, in downtown Belleville that are being redone right now, it's unreal.
Really?
Oh gosh, there's over 50 units that are going to be ready to go to either live in or stay in.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think just the infrastructure alone, all of our communities have made some pretty good infrastructure investments that are going to support people coming in and buying property and creating business. But we've seen it more and more over the years is that GTA just kind of keeps growing outward, right?
It's a big place now.
It's a big, and we're getting to be a big place. I mean, Belleville grew over 8% in the last census. Quinte West grew over 6%. No, it's high. The provincial average and the national average.
I think that number's low. I don't think they've got the full number.
I don't know. Well, that's a good question.
I'm just basing it on the roads. I'm just basing it on the roads and how.
Well, the other thing about Belleville is it's really the center of commerce for the region, right? So the population's almost at 60,000, but really it receives more like 100,000 because you got your Tweed, your Madocks, your Marmaras coming down into here. You got Prince Edward County people coming up to work here, right? I mean, Bell Boulevard and North Front Street is like commerce center. But I think we're heading in a good direction. And I think there are more folks, like you guys who are rolling in with creative businesses that we haven't really seen, again, since I've been here in 2010, some of them, but I think now they're popping up more and more. And then the other thing that I love is because you guys are doing stuff like this. We're getting people together.
That's the goal that we really wanted with this place. Is we could have done this from our houses. We could have, we could run what we're doing. But the reality is that, this front room's for businesses, right? That back room's for creatives. Like we want to put together, meets for different people who are in the creative industry to come out and just connect. Yeah. Because it's a small community.
It is.
And like, I'll show you how small it is. Like, you remember Rob Howsam?
Of course.
Right? So he works with us still, even though he's out in BC,
cool.
We still work with him on various projects. And that's just from, knowing him. But if you go into anywhere, like I think this has been every single set we've been on, Brady, right? Where you go and somebody knows Rob.
Everybody knows Rob.
No doubt.
Everybody knows Rob.
Well, and Loyalist College creates such a
Yes.
connection piece, right?
Which is so good. So that's why we're happily, having those guys as a community come in here. Like we had them come in and learn some like basic how to light a scene for a commercial shoot.
Yeah.
Right. And that was like a full day, actually 2 days worth, right?
2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
Cool.
But like having the students in here, I'm like, this is what it's built for.
And how excited are they, right? They're coming in, they're going, I could maybe stay and work here. Yeah. I think that's what we're seeing more of is people in their 20s, like Brady.
Yeah.
Right? There's 2 people in my team that are in their 20s or their 30s, and they're choosing to stay here because they're thinking, I can make a go of this.
Yeah.
Whereas in my interpretation it used to be, I can't do that. I got to go to Toronto or I got to go wherever. I don't know if you've seen this. It's still very early stages, but we've just started a Bay of Quinte film office.
That's cool.
So we got all of our regional partners together and we sat down, Loyalist colleges at the table, and we said, should we do this? And everybody said yes.
Yeah.
So we're just getting things started.
Yeah.
We're working with Ontario Creates to kind of create a baseline.
Perfect.
Start a locations database.
Yep.
We'll be starting a professionals database.
Amazing, yeah.
Right? And then the idea is we're going to start working with location scouts and the province to try and bring stuff here.
Well, because there's so much locally, and like it's funny because when I started, I don't know if you know my full career, but like I started as a family photographer, did all that. So
yeah, I remember that.
You do? Okay, because you really started to work with me when I was in the commercial world.
Yeah.
Right. So as a commercial photographer, and it's funny because like my commercial world mainly stuck around in this area, not because there was like nothing out there beyond. It was because there was so much here that every time I'm like, okay, I want to go shoot something like this, then I'd find that here, right? And the only thing we're lacking here, I will say, is the cityscape.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing.
No.
Right? Because there's so many photographers in the city already that can do the cityscape stuff. So and we have such a plethora of different environments here. Yeah. Right? You can go from sandbanks to get that sandy look all the way to like Brighton and get some like boardwalk stuff that is just out of this world. Like go walk on Presqu'île's boardwalk.
Yeah.
And it's like you're in a different country. Yeah. It's so amazing.
And there are more professionals here working in either TV and film or the creative industry than I think people realize. It's like, I remember when I first came here, I started getting involved with Belleville Downtown Dockfest. And my passion was, finding those people. That might be how we met. I don't even remember. But I just started trying to figure out who's working in TV and film. And even then in 2010, there was a pretty strong number. Yeah. And, especially when you look south to Prince Edward County, that area has been attracting a lot of creative people from the film and television world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they have a new film festival happening called Adaptations this September. Very cool. I think that's going to be a big step forward too for the film community in this region.
And because Kingston's been growing as that kind of center as well. Totally. So like being able to be partnered up with those as well, it just creates a network beyond Toronto.
And Kingston's awesome because they've reached out and said, hey, like let's work together whenever we can. Yeah. Because we're trying to bring in these big projects, and there's been some big ones, but we don't have everything here. So maybe we need something shot in Napanee, or maybe we need something shot, And so that I think creates even more of an opportunity for the region.
One of the things we're doing is we're actually putting together a gear list now based on what can be rented out.
We would love that. Yeah, that's amazing because ideally people don't have to lug everything.
No,
right?
So we have a full lighting kit here. Yeah. And so I was talking to Brady about the next round because I lease my gear, right? So the next round, like what am I purchasing? I'm probably going to purchase a cinema camera because it's so useful. Yeah. Right. And so being able to have things that we can rent out and to have access for local creators is going to be key.
That's really huge. Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be awesome. Yeah. And these are the types of things that we need in place, to make a go of it. Yeah. Because as you know, film activity happens in a flash, right? They literally call you and say, can we come, in 3 days and do this? And if you're not ready. Yeah. So part of the work we're doing right now is working with the municipalities and the community partners to create policies or bylaws so that permits can be put in place. So when you get that call, it's easy to get the permit, cordon off an area, get the police involved or security or whatever, and then go from
And it's such a small community that you can build that kind of like task force really quickly.
Oh,
which
totally.
is nice.
Yeah. So one of the things that we hope to do in the next month or so even is have some sort of a meetup. So you guys will be getting an invite to that.
Sweet.
And then from there, we want to get more, film professionals or creative professionals sitting around that film office committee table, to provide ideas or, be a part of the work.
Yeah. And this is the one thing that I found from when I grew up in the creative business to now is there's a lot more open door policies, right? If anybody wants to ask me like, what do you charge for this? How do you do this?
Right.
I'll tell them.
Yeah.
Because why should I hide it?
Sure.
But back in the past when I was growing up in this area, it's like, there was nothing there. I'd ask them and they'd be like, what do you want to know? Like, I'm not telling you my prices. You're going to undercut me. It's like, no, I actually want to at least match, because then that way everyone's going to get better.
Yeah.
Right.
It is true. And I think, everybody creates their niche. Like here you guys are, you've really created this video podcast mind fusion, if you will, of the two things, right? And no one else is doing that I've seen in this area. So I think there's an opportunity for everybody. That's always been our point of view too, is, if we collaborate, then we can rock and roll, right? But there's no way we're competing with Toronto or otherwise if we're not all working together.
But you don't need to. It's because like a lot of people go into it going, that's the only way to do it. It's like, no, there are other ways of doing this. And they look different, right? Like our sets are kind of classic kind of style, like hierarchy as far as like, director, DOP and all that. But everyone's a group. So like, that's the one thing is like, a gaffer can come talk to the director and be like, hey, I think this would work better this way. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like when normal, like old school would be like, there's division.
Right.
And
You don't
talk to him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about even more broad than film.
Yeah.
Again, kind of getting back to the mandate of our organization, which is this regional marketing thing.
Yeah.
Our budget max is going to be about $1 million.
Yeah.
By the time we get cash coming in from each of the partners, and we're lucky to get a portion of the hotel tax from Quinte West and Belleville. Kingston's budget, which is maybe our next closest competition, is $5 million.
Yeah.
How are we going to compete with that, right?
Yeah.
And so we got to work together.
Yeah,
Same
exactly,
thing,
yeah.
Toronto. Toronto's hotel tax alone, the last time I checked, which is a few years ago, was $38 million. So they got $38 million.
That's a little different.
So let's remember, every time somebody Googles, Ontario vacation.
Yeah.
Who's got the power to come up first?
Well, the buying power, just
Toronto.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I think a lesson for those small businesses. And you talked about big versus small. All of those small businesses have to compete with those big businesses who are in the same sector as them, who have millions and millions of dollars to spend on these, Google search keywords or otherwise.
And so the trick around this is to have the balls that you did when you first started the business in the small business world, right? And that is to go out there and be, promote your business, be in front of the camera, show people who you are, because people will buy from people.
Well, and you made a really good point earlier when you said, part of your job's getting out. That's what you've got to do in an area like this, is you got to meet the people, right?
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, that's that Ash guy.
Yeah.
I talked to him. I trust him.
It's weird going
Who's this Brady guy?
I know, right? Yeah.
I don't trust him.
I want to get him on camera more. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like he's doing a really good job. And I've got to say that I would not be in front of the camera nearly as much if it wasn't for Brady, because Brady understands that world too.
Yeah.
And
you need that. You need the support, right? And sometimes you're also, like you said earlier, you're too busy. But if you got somebody else motivating you, my alarm's going off. If you got somebody else motivating you to do the work, then you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's key, is like getting a good community around you, even if it's a small community, can be a huge help. Like I've seen more strides in our work, like just obviously visually it's getting better and better every time we do it, but just the quality of the work is getting better and better because of the small group. And as we're growing and we're adding new people and we're changing it up, and it's becoming a really cool new thing that I didn't expect when I built this place. So.
Yeah, that's what I love about our team. We're just a small team of 5.
Yeah.
But we're all motivating each other and pushing each other and talking things out. And it's awesome.
Perfect. Well, I really appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming
more
in.
information, go to bayofquinte.ca.
You took it like I was like, how do people get you? Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.